Santino should be able to hold on for the D1 win. Meanwhile, more riders coming through, heading out on their final lap. another Brevard rider, so although MIP got in there, Brevard gets more numbers. Coming in right there in our D3 contest. This is
"300 days of sunshine, 54,000 acres of open space, 300 miles of trails and bike paths, Boulder. We do this every day."
USA Cycling is the bike racing. On the road, on the track, in the dirt, here at home and around the world.
Okay, guys, we don't have
We maintain the world's most innovative and successful programs that are developing American athletes into the future heroes of Team USA. And through our Race Clean program, we're working to ensure a clean, successful future for American cycling. We are USA Cycling. Join us.
300 days of sunshine. 54,000 acres of open space. 300 miles of trails and bike paths. Boulder. We do this every day.
USA Cycling is the heart of American bike racing. On the road, on the track, in the dirt, here at home and around the world. We maintain the world's most innovative and successful programs that are developing American athletes into the future heroes of Team USA. And through our Race Clean program, we're working to ensure a clean, successful future for American cycling. We are USA Cycling. Join us.
Welcome to beautiful Boulder, Colorado, and you just showed up at exactly the right time. I'm Dave Toll, being joined by Colt McElwain, and we are giving you a good look at the front range right now. Those are the Boulder Flatirons, and the University of Colorado would be just underneath them here as we're out at the Valmont. Well, it used to be a lot of different things, but now it's the Valmont Bike Park, and this really has been, well, over the last 2.5 years, a major effort being made here in Boulder, Colorado. This is the first time we've raced here, but it's the first time we've had a national championship here, Colt, and you can feel an incredible energy and vibe around the venue.
I can't believe it, Dave. I cannot believe we're finally here. I mean, they announced this a few years ago, Boulder, Colorado, to host the national championships, and this is it. I mean, when you think of the cities just in the world, really, that are cycling enthusiasts, this has got to be near the top of your list. Cyclo-cross specifically, they came together and they've put on already this week just a nationals to go down in history, and it's all about to get better this weekend. We got your U23 race coming up this afternoon. The collegiate race is just wrapping up, and Dave, the vibe here is, it's everything you expected.
Yeah, it really has been. Not only a gathering of the tribe, but really for the sport of cyclocross, a very encouraging week here. Now, we have seen just about everything Mother Nature can throw at a venue. The winds still continuing today, actually, if you're looking at some of the feathers that you'll see out here on the venue. The wind has been gusting upwards of 35, 40 miles an hour in these micro bursts. They really hit, it was yesterday morning here at the venue. I'd say about 5:30, not that I was here at that time. But a lot of the junior teams and the compounds that are set up took a pretty big hit with the wind there. There are a lot of 10x10 tents being blown around. Today, Cold, is the first day it really has warmed up here at the venue, and the track is starting to soften up a bit here as well.
Yeah, I mean, they got dumped with snow here about a week ago. They had a foot of snow on this course. I remember looking at pictures before everybody showed up, and it's been melting every day. The first couple of races here, the Wednesday races, the single speed were very... the Wednesday races were very wet out there, but the wind, like you said, Dave, yesterday has just smacked the side of this course and dried it out almost overnight. There's still some puddles out there on the backside, especially. We'll get a chance to show you guys the course here in a little bit, but a lot of standing water, but overwhelmingly, this thing is dried out. I'm going with your all-around tires. Mud tires are going back in the trailer.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to agree with you as well. I think a lot of people expected this venue to dry up a lot quicker than it did, but the consistent cold temperatures that we've had, especially at night getting down into the 20s, you're getting a look now at the Shimano pit. It's a two-sided pit here. It's actually worked really well. They call it the other side of the course, and it really is a split venue, much like you see in Bend, Oregon, where there's two decidedly different parts of this course. And the backside, I guess we'll call the Glades or the Everglades, and that's sort of the pit here is on the edge of that. So this Valmont Bike Park is a purpose-built bicycle park. I know a lot of people have been talking about this through the week, and very, very good reason. This is something that you hope to see replicated around America and the world. But, you know, over the last 2.5 years, the junior riders, master riders, and elite riders here in Boulder have had a decided advantage getting to train and ride here week in, week out.
Yeah, when you talk about the group of people they have here between Pete Weber and what he's done with IMBA and Hall of Fame member. I mean, these guys know how to build trails. They know how to work with the local authorities and to get these things. And Boulder really leading the charge here in terms of getting the site here. But we got some great people to get to now.
Yeah, USA Cycling has put together a tremendous group like VW, who've been involved for years. Cyclops has stepped up to really support this event as well as cyclists around the world. Noosa Yogurt, a local company with worldwide ambitions, certainly. And they've been a welcome addition. And obviously, I heard the announcers talking about the Sierra Nevada Beer Garden opening up a little earlier. I think that's going to be the place to be.
After the race.
After the race. for us, anyways. WD-40 Bike, I don't know if you saw them over as you enter the venue earlier. Boy, they've been working non-stop over the last 4 days, keeping all of our riders active. And then Spy, what a great addition to the family.
Spy Opta keeping the sun out of our eyes here in the booth this afternoon. The sun is shining in Boulder. Dave, we got WickWorks, the fastest shifting chain rings. That's what Katie Compton will be running for the Elite Women's race this weekend.
I was just going to say, she proved those rings right here on this course at the Boulder Cup just a couple months ago. So you're getting a look at the 5280 run-up here right now, one of the classic permanent features that's been built into this venue. You know, I also wanted to talk quickly, Colt, about the reason that we're here in Boulder. USA Cycling has really done a great job over the last couple of years of bringing some of the family back into the fold, and this Boulder group would certainly be a part of that. They were a rival organization a few years ago, and over the last couple of years, as they've become a part of the USA Cycling family here in Boulder, this is certainly a great way to show a party, to show how much we appreciate each other here in the sport of cycling.
Yeah, just talking on USA Cycling, I mean, this season they've done maybe more than ever before for cyclocross. We saw what they did with the USA Cycling Pro CX calendar, organizing all those UCI races together. $40,000 up for grabs, split equally between the men and women. In that series, we had Jeremy Powers taking it for the men, Elle Anderson for the women, but it really gave the sport a storyline to follow. I know for us here at Behind the Barriers TV, it gave us an organized list of races to look at and really follow the sport. It can often get segmented between the Northwest and New England, and everyone has their own community out there, but when you can tie it all together there with that common thread, it really brought all of the communities together, and props to USA Cycling for starting to figure those things out and unite the sport and really help continue this growth we've seen over the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, I agree. And you're looking at Volkswagen right here. They're just one of the tremendous sponsors that stepped up to help create this national level of events, whether it's road cycling, track cycling, collegiate cycling. It really has been amazing to watch how across the board, USA Cycling has just done a tremendous job with over 70,000 members right now. The Cyclo-cross family gets their chance to celebrate here in Boulder. So, you know, you're looking at another one of the permanent features here right now, and that's that long straight start-finish stretch that we work with. And I think the riders are going to be called to the grid shortly here as we get ready for 50 minutes of racing. That's
right. We are here at the 2014 USA Cycling Cyclocross National Championships. We've got your U23 Men coming up very, very shortly, as you see on your screen now. 50 racers lining up for this one here at the Valmont Bike Park, and they will be going for 50 minutes. So go ahead, guys. Take the opportunity now while you can. Get on Twitter, get on Facebook. Let your friends know that we will be broadcasting live here this afternoon. Wasn't originally in the schedule, but we figured we might as well turn it on for you guys. Give it a little test run here ahead of tomorrow's big day with the Elite Men and Elite Women. We are very excited to be bringing you guys live coverage from some of the best young riders around the globe. And here we go, Dave. Lining up is your defending national champion, the Cal Giant rider. Almost didn't recognize him without the Stars and Stripes jersey. That is Yannick Ekman. Coming up next to him here alongside in the front, we have the Cannondale prepared by Cyclo-cross world rider Curtis White. A very strong season for him, making some podiums in the Elite UCI races. And it looks like we got...
Yeah, that's your big favorite, Logan Owen, rolling up right now. Now, that biggest danger man that Cal Giant has is certainly going to be Curtis White here, the Cannondale rider. So now you look at the man out of Louisville. This is really the pride of the Ohio Valley. That is Drew Dillman, successful Living Bob's Red Mill team.
Coming up next to him, another Cal Giant rider. They're going to dominate the first two rows here. That is Cody Kaiser, a former junior national champion, the best bike handler in this field today. He is going to shred that course.
Every Cal Giant rider has been a national champion that we've lined up so far. Logan Owen has never missed the top step as a junior rider, and there is going to be the fourth of the four riders of the apocalypse. That is Tobin Ortenblad, the final Cal Giant rider that'll be up on that front row. 4 riders in the top 8.
Joshua Johnson is up there. Skylar Trujillo riding that bamboo bicycle for Boo Bicycles is up there, and then Samuel O'Keefe is going to be the last rider on that front row.
Yeah, and when you take a look at this front row, both Yannick Ekman as well, Yannick Ekman at 11 years old moved to Boulder, Colorado, about a mile away from this venue. He was your reigning champion coming into today. Skylar Trujillo from just up the road in Fort Collins. He now goes to Fort Lewis College, but as you mentioned, racing on a bamboo bike that's manufactured in his hometown, just about a mile up the road, or excuse me, an hour up the road here for Boulder.
A couple of big names here on the next couple of rows. I see Lewis Gaffney in there riding for the American Classic Cyclocross team. He has been outstanding this season. Robin Ekman, the brother of Yannick Ekman, he's going to be there on your second row as well. We've got Jesse Keogh in here. part of that Keogh Cyclo-cross family. Look for him. He will always be good come national championships time. But Dave, like we said, the real story here is that red kit of the Cal Giant team. They have 4 or 5 guys in this race. Not only are they going to be able to work together, but at some point they're going to be working against each other. They all want to win this race. I talked to Yannick yesterday. I asked if there was any sort of strategy or discussion within the team. They said it's every man for themselves, but you got to imagine if there's Logan and Yannick, a couple of those guys together with Curtis, they're going to do whatever they can to help advance the chances of that program.
Well, certainly not chasing down teammates, and that's going to be the name of the game. I have a feeling when that last group of 5, that ultimate selection comes together, and I'm going to see that in about 2-3 laps of racing remaining, that there will be 3 Cal Giant riders in that group. You're going to have a hard time eliminating any of these guys from the vanguard of this race out here today. So certainly, I've never seen a U23 race line up with this much excitement as well as pressure on one team. If Cal Giant Cole walks away without the win today, there should be a tremendous disappointment in that camp.
And a tremendous party for Curtis White.
Or what about Josh Johnson?
Joshua Johnson is up there as well. Joshua Johnson's had a great season. He raced yesterday in the collegiate relay. He helped lead that team to the national title there, got his first Stars and Stripes jersey of the weekend, laid down a very fast time. You're right, though. Drew Dillman, Joshua Johnson, those guys are good. But Curtis White, let's talk about this for a second. Curtis White and Logan Owen, first-year U23 riders. We talk about the depth. It's been a long time since we've had this many guys' names in the discussion. You have a guy like Cody Kaiser, who's on the way out from the category, a former junior national champion. But it's been a while since we had such good junior riders graduating into the team. Logan Owen, 4th at the World Championships this past year, 4th both on the road and cyclocross. Curtis White sort of had to live in his shadow last year, but he was also very, very strong at the World Cup with some top 5 rides. Those guys come and join some of these older riders. It makes for a very explosive front line.
Yeah, in my mind, Logan Owen is the man to beat here today, even though he's a first-year U23. This kid, as I said, has never missed at the national championships. Now, he has been staying at the Ekman house here, as has Ortenblad over the last couple of days. They are very, very close off the bike, but now it's time to go to war, and this is it. The gladiators of cyclocross. Look at this. That really is, Colt, the future of the sport. Skylar Trujillo all the way on the edge in yellow, and then the vanguard, as we said, from Cal Giant. Curtis White looks like he is ready to hit out, doesn't he?
This is the day we've all been waiting for, and we are off. Richard Curtis fast into his pedals, but Logan Owen, oh my God, Cody Kaiser explodes. It is 1, 2, 3 right off the bat there for Cal Giant. Skylar on the outside. Curtis going to tuck in there. A very strong headwind, Dave, as they come down the home stretch.
Yeah, look at Logan Owen slotting in right behind his teammate there. That was exactly the start that Cal Giant was looking for. Nice and clean out of the grid. And now we'll start looking at our top 8 as they start lining this one up. So it's a gradual right-hander that takes you to the first significant sector of this course. It's not a tough climb, but you're going to start feeling this one. But right now, these kids are just charging with adrenaline.
It's very high speed. That climb on the back section is going to bring them up to the top of the course. More than anything, it's going to allow the riders to shuffle up a bit. If you didn't get a great start, there's going to be a lot of guys from that 2nd and 3rd row that are just powering right now on the backside. They're trying to get up, make contact. Dave, 50 minutes they're out here, and this is a long lap. We saw earlier in the day riders are doing just about under 8 minutes.
Does Cal Giant have a strategy on lap 1? Do you think Cody Kaiser's riding the role of a rabbit? Is he going to try to set up or spring the trap for Logan Owen here?
I think their strategy is to get together, work together in these early laps, maybe trade off some leads, and just try to get that separation. And you see here, we're just a couple minutes into the race, a minute even at that, and we see Logan Owen out of the saddle every opportunity. But Curtis White, the man we talked about, he is exactly where he needs to be. We don't even have to wait for it. This is it. This is the battle we talked about. Cal Giant, they've got the numbers. Curtis White, he's got some incredible fitness. Let's get to it.
Yeah, you know what? You got to really, when you look at Curtis White, win, lose, or draw, he has put himself into a very, very tough situation. It's already 2. The selection being made. Logan Owen has exploded this bike race. Sven Nace likes to use that term about the explosion. It has already happened, Colt, here in the first 2 minutes of this race. You are certainly, that's Tobin Ortenblad that we're looking at, then Dillman coming through. How about this effort from the Cliff Bar rider?
Yeah, Colby Preble, they're getting a super start coming off the 2nd row. Lewis Gaffney getting in there as well. No sign of Yannick Ekman here early on. That is Tobin Ortenblad there in 3rd, so Yannick getting not the best start.
You know, we watched Tobin in Louisville have an incredible start there. He is a fast starter and actually a strong finisher, but today it's all about this Logan Owen. There you go. Looking at the man and his craft. Curtis White right there as well. Boy, Curtis White is going to go toe-to-toe with this Cal Giant team today. This is like watching the Italians and breaking away going up against Dave Stoller, isn't it? I mean, they are going to try to string this kid out during the day, and right now the tactic is obviously go out hard, and I think see where the chips fall after one lap.
Absolutely, Dave. This is a flat-out attack from Logan Owen. This is not typical first lap. I mean, this is the national championships. No one's here for 2nd. No one's here to wait it out and look what happens. Logan Owen thinks that he has the best legs on the day over 50 minutes, and he is not wasting a single second putting down his maximum power.
Logan Owen at the World Championships in Louisville was actually 4th place there, but he had a lot of bad luck along the way that he had to fight through. This is, as we were talking about in the preview of the show, potentially the greatest American cyclocrosser that ever lived that you're looking at right now in our U23 championship race here in Boulder, Colorado. We're out on lap number 1. The temperature here is pretty close to 50 degrees, but there's been a strong breeze coming out of the north, and it continues to kick up throughout the day. These are conditions. The worse it gets, the better it is for Logan Owen, I would say, Colt, right now. Curtis White coming out of New England. He's no stranger to mud or cold, that's for sure.
Cody Kaiser, on the other hand, coming out of Southern California. He's been racing some very warm, dry races out there. But like we said, he is one of the best bike handlers in all of cyclocross. In this field specifically, you're going to see him probably riding some of the staircases on the backside, hopping the barriers on these slick corners here as the sun comes out today. It's wet. It's, melting some of that frozen ground. Things are starting to slide up. And Cody Kaiser on these corners is going to be able to use his bike handling skills to help match. Look at that, though. Logan Owen into the pits already.
Yeah, first pit and first time he has a chance to. So maybe, probably not a tire pressure change. Interesting to see what's going on there. But as our first 3 are through, now you're going to see Dillman having a very strong start as well in the blue and red there. That was Drew Dillman. And now to Skylar Trujillo leading this next really group through here as we're looking at our top 10, now top 20 riders as they hit the Shimano pit for the first time here.
Waiting to see the leaders again here. It looks like Curtis White probably was going to give it a little punch there, but no, it looks like he sits back. He is content now. I think if you're looking at the strategy of Curtis, he knows that he's outnumbered. He knows that he just has to follow Logan Owen. Now, he's raced junior career with Logan. He knows him very well. They're very familiar with each other as competitors. Curtis knows that he has to sit on that wheel, wait for Logan to make a mistake, and wait patiently because he maybe only has one chance to make a count here where he can get away from these guys.
I agree. The 3 Colt greatest runs in American Cyclocross National Championship history, in my mind, belong to Katie Compton with 9 in a row, looking for 10 here. Jesse Anthony with his 7 in a row as a junior. And then clearly the man on the front right now, Logan Owen, who lined up at 10 years old. He's from Bremerton, Washington, lined up at 10 years old and has never lost in 8 tries. Now, I don't believe that we've ever had a rider go from being junior national champion straight into being a champion as a as a U23 rider. If there's ever a guy that had a shot, it would certainly be that man. It looks like we're being joined.
Look at this, Dave. Cody Kaiser, like we said, I can't even count that many stairs, and Cody Kaiser just made that look downright easy. That's the kind of bike handling skills we're talking about, and that's what's holding him right now inside that top 3. Now, Dave, we are joined in the booth by a very special guest, a multi-time former national champion, a new father. Congratulations, Todd Wells. Welcome.
Thanks.
Wow, Todd, great to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and we got a good race going.
Yeah, how's the vibe? I know you just walked over to join us here. We're right on the finishing straight here. Crowd looks great out there. I hear some vuvuzelas. I saw a guy with a saxophone. Looks like it's lively.
Yeah, you know, we're here Saturday, U23 race, and there are so many people here. I feel like it's, you know, the Sunday Elite Men's race on the normal UCI weekends. It's an awesome vibe here in Boulder.
Logan Owen now opening some separation there, Dave. He has distance. Amazing here. Still out on lap number 1. The camera has to wait and wait before Curtis comes into the sight. Cody Kaiser, though, is just blowing my mind right now. He's been good all season, but he has not been this good. Very sloppy, though, for Logan over the barriers.
Todd, if you're a Cal Giant rider right now behind Curtis White, at what point do you try to jump around him? I mean, right now you're letting that gap open up. You're watching your teammate Logan Owen. We're still here on lap number 1, starting to ride away with this. Obviously, you don't want to pitch in and help him at any point. At what point do you start riding for your silver medal and try to jump him?
Yeah, well, you know, the race it's early. These guys are going flat out, and they're just kind of sorting themselves out right now. I think after a lap or 2, they'll kind of find where they're at in the race, and then they'll, you know, start playing some tactics.
I mean, you've been in these situations before, both at World Cups or national championships or world championships. I mean, mountain biking, cyclocross, it really is an individual sport. It's not the road. You wear the same colors, but when it comes down to it, if those guys get off the front together, they're going to be attacking each other.
You know, big question right now is where's Ekman? When you're looking at that group right behind Curtis White, who's the Cannondale rider, who right now is looking at about a 5-second gap, I'd say we'll be picking up the field.
Oh,
that's going to happen out there. But it looks
going to be bib number
Yannick Ekman
45.
must have had some difficulty out there on this first lap. We're going to try to pick up where he is. He's one of the big pre-race favorites coming in today.
Yeah, the defending champion, Yannick Ekman, but hasn't really had the season he's had in years past. I remember a couple of years ago. Now, let's see, there he is now coming through. Looks like he's going to go around Curtis. So a little bit of a slow start. But Yannick, he's got a great training block in his legs over these last couple of weeks, and hopefully he's able to make up for some of that earlier trouble he had at the beginning of the season. But Cody Kaiser still in there as well, and Curtis White is hanging very tough. That's Tobin coming off his great start. He's going to fade back now just slightly.
So, Todd, that's exactly what I was talking about there, though. You could see that Ekman was starting to make a a move right now. But do you think in his mind that he didn't want, it is touch and go out there, as we're talking about the lack of team tactics in this sport, but there is an element of that as well.
Yeah, there is some team tactics that come into play, and here in Boulder, I think that this course has more corners and is a bit more technical than we've seen at the previous editions of it. So at the beginning, it's hard to move up. If you get a slow start, you're in 10th place.
Logan Owen here flying the flag for Washington State. He is absolutely blast off right now, coming through the start-finish, Dave. 8 minutes and 8 seconds. That's one of the fastest laps we have seen all week long. And here comes the teammate.
Myself. Yeah, Ekman is coming, and I believe Ekman will join Logan Owen on the front of this bike race. I think you're going to see that tandem.
Look at that, Dave.
Together here.
Curtis White there flicking the shoulder. Cody Kaiser will not come around, though. I don't know if he can or if he won't, but Curtis will not find any help from the Cal Giant program. You're right, though. I wonder now, Todd, if you're Logan this early in the race, are you waiting for somebody with these headwinds out here?
You know, it is really windy out here today, and that could be a benefit. But I think these guys, they're U23s, they're fired up. It's the national champs, and they're just out there giving it their all.
I agree. I think that Yannick can put it up into the red zone a little bit extra right now, just because he's got probably a thimble more of adrenaline to work with out here today, racing in his backyard. I mean, a lot of Yannick Ekman supporters are out on course today. I would say even more so than Logan Owen would have with Yannick racing in his hometown. Look at the rest of our top 20 coming through right now.
Skylar Trujillo in there, Jesse Keogh sitting well inside the top 20. All those Cal Giant riders are up there as well. Some great rides, though. Drew Dillman, Joshua Johnson up there in the mix inside the top 10. But just on another level right now is Logan Owen opening up this gap. And look at this now. Curtis White able to bridge back a little bit on the climb there. He's with Curtis White. These two are going to stay very close together.
This is already now gone 1, 2, 3 for Cal Giant, actually, as they are starting to play the elimination game out there.
Yeah, it looks like they have 4 guys stacked in the top 5, so they definitely have the numbers, and the 3 guys up there, Cody, Logan, and Yannick, are all looking great.
We really move into a new phase of the race right now, Todd, don't we? Once you get through the first 5 minutes, or really that opening lap, it finds a rhythm out there, doesn't it?
Yes, the start is so intense, and these U23 guys are fired up. We see at the World Cup sometimes the U23 guys have the fastest lap of the weekend. So these guys, they're hungry, they can go out there and pin it, and they're really exciting to watch.
What is the issue then? Is it that they don't stay focused throughout that full hour as well as the elite men? They crack at some point out there?
We've seen it with Logan. He came up from the juniors this year. Now he's a U23 racing with the elites, and 45 minutes, he's right up there, and then he seems to fade a little at the end. I don't know if the older guys have a little bit more experience or he just hasn't raced that long, but for these 45 minutes, these guys are just as fast as anyone.
And these guys, Dave, they're coming fresh off the World Cup, where Logan Owen, he'd be putting in this kind of an effort on a first lap, and he'd be 7th or 8th. So right now, that's just what he's used to. That's what he's been doing these last few weeks over in Europe. He put in a start like he's accustomed to, and it's just so happens that nobody could even come close to following that. He's the kind of rider, if he can stay smooth on his bike, he is very accustomed to holding a lead like this. He did it his entire junior career. He knows how to maintain.
Really looks like he could fall off the edge of the earth right here, doesn't it? Todd, this is a section of the course that we're calling Pete's Plunge. Did your career overlap with Pete Weber at all as a pro mountain biker?
Yeah, a little bit. Right. I raced with Weber a little bit.
And this is obviously, as our course designer, they named that sector for him, and obviously it's outrigger territory as they
Absolutely.
make their way.
Colby Preble for the Cliff Bar team coming through that off-camber section, starting there on the in the second row, but starting with bib number 11. He is just riding out of his skin right now. A great start for the local rider here from Boulder.
What a technician this young man is, Logan Owen, as you're looking at Owen coming through and now Ekman, and they're going to hit the pit here in just a moment. Last lap, Logan Owen pitted. I wonder what's going to happen this time through.
That gap is staying very consistent. Yannick Ekman has his eyes set there. He's able to match pace. I wouldn't be surprised, Dave, if you're right, if those two come back together here very shortly.
But it certainly looks like Logan's going to make him work for it, doesn't it?
Now look at this, Dave. I believe this is going to be Cody Kaiser. Now where is Curtis White? Kaiser comes through. This is going to be Tobin Ortenbland. And finally now, Curtis White, he's fallen all the way back to 5th place. So Curtis White just not on the day that he is mechanical. Sorry, just coming in over race radio. Curtis White suffering a mechanical. Not sure if he has to get to the pits now, but devastating. We saw his sister, Emma White. She was dominating the junior women's 17-18 race, had a crash in a mechanical. She was a DNF there, so a tough weekend for the White family.
Yeah, that would explain a lot. What kind of a mechanical would you expect them to be dealing with? A drivetrain issue out there, Todd?
You would think so. There's a little bit of mud on the course. It's not very heavy. You see the riders are still carrying quite a bit of speed, but it's the chain gets some mud. We have sand out there, and you'd have to think it was a drivetrain or a flat tire.
There you go, flat tire as well. Although, yeah, as we're watching right now, it's certainly going to be interesting. Logan Owen went into the pit. Once again, the first opportunity he had. Will riders be playing around with tire pressure on a day like today?
I think so, because the course is, parts of it are completely dry, super fast, almost dusty, and then you go into another section that's muddy, slippery. So, it's tough to choose a pressure on a day like today.
And Dave, that gap continues to shrink now. It's millimeters at a time, but Logan Owen is holding strong. But here comes Yannick Ekman, the German-born rider now in the U.S., racing for the U.S. here at the National Championships. He knows how to do it. He's done it before. Last year, your defending national champion, Todd Wells. Check this out. Cody Kaiser on the Belgian steps. Is he going to do it again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Unfreaking believable for Cody Kaiser. Just as fast. He's almost building momentum as he hops up those stairs.
Todd, how many guys you know that can do that?
Man, that's the first guy I've seen do that. That's impressive. Those stairs are tough, and Cody, he's a great bike handler. He'll always be hopping the barriers, stuff other guys won't. That's kind of his deal, and he's having a great ride out there.
This is out of Santa Cruz, California, Tobin Ortenblad that we're looking at right now. Once again, Cal Giant has been just dominant here over the first lap and a half of racing as they have moved all 4 riders. Once again, they had 4 in the front of the grid, and now they've got holding on to the top 4 positions. Let's run through that order right now. It's Logan Owen. We'll see as we watch Logan here over this run-up. That right behind him is the German-American Yannick Ekman, lives right here in Boulder, Colorado. Moved about a mile away from here when he was 11 years old. Probably one of the happiest people to see the Valmont Bike Park come into fruition.
Obviously, Logan, he's been here training for a while, but not born, not raised at altitude, whereas Yannick, he's been here for a very long time. Todd, I know we're only at about 5,000 feet and change, but how much is the altitude playing a factor here at this race?
Yeah, for us in the U.S., 5,000, 6,000 feet, it doesn't seem like very much. But if you were to go to Europe, those guys would probably come here a month early to prepare for that type of altitude.
Right, so Yannick Ekman then probably with a slight advantage just being acclimated. He's spent the whole holidays here training as well while some of those other guys were over in Europe.
All right, but it's a game of give and take. You give Ekman the altitude, but then you got to give the mud to the kid from Bremerton.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's amazing how this sport works, isn't it?
Yeah, the altitude, training up there, you get the red blood cells, but when you're at sea level, you have the power. Cyclo-cross is a mix of both of those, and, each of those guys brings their strengths.
Curtis White here, he just looks shook up. I heard, so he had a bit of a mechanical, he had a bobbled, I guess he dropped his chain, had to spend some time going back into the pits, though, now is Logan Owen, but White just seems to have taken himself out of this mentally. He's got Colby Preble closing down on him quickly, but Dave, we might have a race on our hands for the win after all.
That is Owen coming out of pit row once again. So second time into the pits here. They're very well looked after. Almost a kind of satellite team for you, Todd, as you ride for Specialized, obviously, and those are the same bikes that they are on. That team has done just a tremendous job of finding the top young American talent, as it looks like.
Cody Kaiser going to take a bike as well. So conditions here changing drastically. This morning, the course, yesterday it got swept with that wind. It dried out a lot this morning. It was dry, frozen ground. But as the sun comes out and the weather, as the temperature heats up, the earth is starting to thaw. We're starting to get some slimier corners. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are going in asking for a little lower tire pressure.
Wind is dying down out there right now as well. I think the end of this race is going to almost be like being on a different planet than the beginning of the racing here today. As down here on the finishing straight, we are watching it going to the whip. Once again, that is Logan Owen right behind him. Boy, that gap has not changed since exactly 1 lap ago.
Putting in, he did, I think, a 6:08 on his first lap. He's going to come through now 16 something, a faster lap. He just keeps getting faster on this course. But Yannick Ekman, he is locked, he is loaded, he is so close. They're going to turn that U-turn, come along that gradual climb on the backside of that course. Yannick Ekman, like you said, the wind has died down, but he's got to get across that gap, and he's got to do it now. It's going to be so much easier if he can get on that wheel.
They always say, Todd, one slip and he's on him, but that kid, Logan Owen, doesn't make many slips.
He doesn't. I think they've been locked at about 5 or 6 seconds here since we saw Ekman move up into second place, and I don't know.
Does that tell you that Owen is strong or that Ekman is patient?
Maybe both. Ekman, he can ride 6 seconds, see some lines Owen takes. Maybe it's some line he isn't taking, and he can maybe gain some time just following Owen, save it for the end.
But Curtis White's got his work cut out for him, Colt, doesn't he?
Curtis White, like you said, I thought he was defeated. He got there on the start-finish line. He sat up. He opened it up a little bit to try and close that gap. Now we see on the start line, just coming through off your screen, Drew Dillman has made contact with Colby Preble. They are going to fight it out for those remaining spots inside the top 5. No sign of Joshua Johnson out on course. I expected to see him up in the mix early on, but this Cal Giant team, they're just unreal. What a credit to Specialized and to Cal Giant for what they've done to support not only cyclocross, but the next generation of cyclocross with these U23 riders. I think that was Robin Ekman, the brother coming through, also inside the top 10.
Yeah, the older brother of Yannick, who's also been a road special along the way. But we're looking now at Logan Owen.
Cody Kaiser there.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
So
they couldn't have made it more
wheel.
difficult, putting the first 4 in the same kits.
You know, I was watching those guys warm up in the trailer today. The 4 guys in the top 4 slots, they're friends. They travel to the races together, but they get out here, they all want to win.
It's a very interesting dynamic in sport, isn't it? When you are, on a team and lining up with some of your best friends, but then ultimately you have to slay them at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's how the sport works. Spending some time with, it looks like Tobin Ortenblad right here, I believe, at the bottom of the 5280.
I believe that's going to be Logan as well, coming up the stairs there. The 5280 stairs.
Right.
It's 24 steps broken up into 2 sets of 12 and very steep, deceivingly steep. A guy like Ryan Turbone makes easy work of those, but these guys, it is a hard, we said in our course preview video, it might not be in terms of a make or break, it might not be the make moment. You're not going to attack here and get a huge gap, but as the legs get tired here later in the race, it can easily be the break moment. If you don't have it right there, it could all fall apart. Guys, I know we're following a lot of the top 5 here. That's who's on our screen, but if you're looking for updates on somebody else, go ahead, hit me up on Twitter at DopersSuck, DopersSuck. I'll do my best to get you some updates on the other guys out there. I know we got a lot of family and friends tuning in, but right now it is that Washington rider, Logan Owen, 4th at the World Championships last year, a first-year U23 rider coming to Boulder, Colorado, and he's got stars and stripes on his mind. Todd, this would be his 9th consecutive cyclocross national championships. Unreal.
And it really becomes unprecedented when you make the jump from junior to U23. Typically, your brother, Troy, a former U23 national champion, but that jump as well as U23 to elite, that's the quantum leap that you make in the sport, isn't it?
Definitely. And you see some guys, they develop faster. Logan Owen, he stepped right in, no problem. Junior to U23, he's competitive. Internationally, he's leading the U23 national champs here right now. And, some people develop a little later, but right now with the 4 Cal Giant guys off the front and Curtis chasing, it's a great race out here.
Todd, we see Yannick Ekman there. He continues to sit very close behind Logan Owen there. How deep do you dig to make contact there? How much do you risk that when you get to Logan that he'll just be able to leave you? How valuable is it to be on that wheel versus just keeping him in your sights?
That's the thing, too, with altitude. Sea level, you punch it across, you recover right away. Altitude, he knows Ekman growing up here, he races here. You make that big acceleration, you're going to pay for it. So if he can just pick off a second here, a second there, without that big acceleration, save it for the end, he knows that might be more valuable.
And you have to believe now, Colt, that Owen is going to keep that little bit in reserve if he feels the surge coming to give it a little more gas. And this is really going to be the give and the take out here over the next couple of laps. You don't want to play your cards too early if you're Ekman, do you? I mean, if you charge and make that catch with a lap and a half to go, it gives, once again, Owen a chance to re-strategize how to get rid of you again. Really interesting how this one is going to play out amongst teammates, friends, and really the future of cyclocross in America right now out on course.
And you talk about going over that threshold, going into the red zone here at altitude. I wonder if that's what happened to Curtis White. We saw him early on. His goal coming into this had to be stick that wheel of Logan Owen no matter what. I don't know if he was expecting Logan Owen to just absolutely blast off planet Earth there on the first lap.
You have to line up, Todd, thinking that you're going to win, don't you? I mean, if you're him, you got to be all in on the win. And why start a race looking to ride into the top 5, correct?
Exactly. And like I said, these guys are all punchy. They're U23s. They're excited. They want that jersey. And, a guy goes off the front, they got to go with him, especially someone with the caliber of Logan Owen. So many national championships,
Sure.
He's not going to come back to you. You're going to have to go get him.
Yeah, he really lined up when you talk about Curtis White in a tough spot. I mean, when you were looking at 4 of the top 5 racers in a race on the same team, on the front row, I mean, that's a tough code to crack, and certainly credit where credit is due. Curtis White, as we said, coming back from a drop train earlier. Let's see what he can do in the second half of this race.
Absolutely. Here we go again. Cody Kaiser. I never get sick of watching this. Quick correction, guys. I had been saying that was Colby Preble. I believe that's actually Ian McPherson, the Cliff Bar rider there, mixing it up inside the top 10. Thank you guys for the corrections on Twitter, but we are paying attention now to your first 5.
in the elite men's race, that technique, if Powers can do that, could that be a difference maker out there?
You know, it doesn't look faster, but after 60 minutes, he might save a little bit of energy, and those guys come to the finish in the group. It could be just what he needed.
It's interesting. It's these 1% as they talk about. It's amazing out there right now. So, well, I guess really the story, Colt, becomes the front of the bike race here as we watch Logan Owens holding off his teammate and friend, Yannick Ekman. Ekman really, as Todd said, they have locked in at 5 seconds. I haven't seen a split yet coming over the wire that's not at 5.
Yep, Drew Dillman now making his way into the stairs. And I believe, like we said, so that is, I believe, Ian McPherson there, the Cliff Bar rider, who's riding with him. A very, very strong ride for that rider. Bib number 16 coming off the second row. There is the other Ekman brother. That is going to be Robin Ekman. But like we said, guys, some great races. I mean, it's always the case here when we have a live coverage of the national championships. There's such talent at the front with guys like Cody and Logan and Curtis. We have some great rides going on. Sam O'Keefe is crushing it out there. I see Gerald Drummond out there doing very well. We have Skylar Mackey also out there. These guys all inside the top 25 at the moment, having some great battles of their own. But at this point in the race, we are looking at the stars and stripes. Really, when it comes down to it, the national championships, it's all about one thing, and that's the top step of the podium. And 2 men right now still have that in their sights.
All right, that's Ekman that we're watching on our screen here. Is, boy, Cal Giant now, there's got to be about a minute separating Owen back to Tobin Ortenblad, I would think, out on course. And here's a rejuvenated Curtis White that we're looking at right now.
I think he's found his legs a little bit, Dave, but this is still, I mean, when we saw Curtis a little earlier in the season, a few weeks ago down in Rhode Island at a UCI race there, he was up there attacking off the front. He's one of those guys who can go over and over and over again and recover, but like Todd said, here at altitude, maybe, I mean, he didn't have the chance to come in and acclimate. He's still in high school, believe it or not. He had class, he showed up late, and maybe paying the price for not having much familiarity with racing in these kind of conditions. Like Todd mentioned, I mean, it's not always even acclimating so much as it is knowing how to do it, having done it before, knowing how to gauge your efforts at altitude and how to change your strategy to match that as Cody Kaiser comes through the pit here to take another bike.
And we're going to be flashing back to the finish line right now.
Let's see if we can get a split here. So he comes across. That's going to be 24-12 for Logan Owen, down in the drops, charging very, very hard. And Dave, 6 seconds. 6 seconds is the gap with 3 laps to go. Woo!
It's touch and go all the way to the line. No doubt about it with 3 to go here. Now, Todd, let's talk some tactic. If you are Logan Owen, psychologically here, what's the game you're playing?
Yeah, you know, Logan, he wants to keep that lead. He's got Ekman where he wants him behind him. You know, if the race finished right now, Owen wins the national champs. So he just has to keep doing what he's doing. Whereas Ekman, he's watching, he's seeing where Owen, he might be able to make up some time on him here or there. And I think we'll see them come together, if they're going to come together, within the next lap or two and maybe race it out at the end.
When's the last time we saw a 2-up sprint between teammates at this level?
Unbelievable. I can't think of a time we've ever seen. I mean, you look, some of the elite teams, they've had some very strong between Zach McDonald and Jeremy Powers on Rafa Focus, and that Cannondale Cyclo-cross World team is very good. But no team has dominated a specific category the way the Cal Giant is doing here today. That goes for juniors. That goes for I know Boulder Cycle Sport is great out here with Pete Weber and Brandon Dwight. But these guys, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I think you put that many guys, that many great talents on the same team. They travel together, they race together, and they really learn from each other, and they help push each other to step up their game, and it's all paying off here. Coming back onto the start stretch now, we have Tobin Ortenblad there. He's fighting for the spot inside the top 5. Curtis White just cannot. He can reach out and almost touch him. He can smell him. He just can't get on his wheel.
Well, this is what can be so tough, Todd. Having some problems over the opening laps makes you want to try to find time back quickly out there and looking for that little bit extra bit. And I imagine Curtis White just needs to take a deep breath, settle in now, and realize that he needs to ride for the best spot he can in the top 5 here today.
Exactly. You know, all these guys want to win this race. They've been targeting this all season, and it's a big race. You have something go wrong. Your first instinct, hurry up and make up that time,
Sure.
But you know, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And again, here at altitude, it's tough to dig too deep in the beginning. You can pay for it in the end.
See, what Todd is talking about, it really is that gambler's mentality that doesn't work in this sport. It is so rare that you go big and win in cyclocross. It's a consistent effort. You know, touching back, Colt, on what we were talking about earlier a few seasons ago when you had Tim Johnson and Jeremy Powers going into that USGP final basically tied. It was going to be the guy who won was going to win the series. That's really the last time I really remember anything like this. And actually, it was Todd Wells that came and won nationals that year, wasn't it?
Absolutely. That was Portland, Oregon, 2010 or 2011, I believe. Right now, though, guys, like we said, some great rides inside the top 5. Drew Dillman is holding very Armstrong in 6th position. He's got that Cliff Bar rider, Ian McPherson, right on his wheel. Next time we come through that start-finish line, we'll try and hold for you guys on the top 10, count them out for you. I know a lot of you guys are trying to check out all the riders out there on the screen. But, Dave, I mean, we're talking about this. We're 27 minutes into a 50-minute race. We still have 3 laps to go at about 8 minutes and change. This race still has a lot of ground to cover, a lot of fireworks here in these first couple of laps. But now we get into the bread and butter. Can he hold that lead? We see, looks to be Jesse Keogh coming through, and that will be number 11. Okay, so there is Colby Preble coming through on the wheel of the very small bib number 15. That is one of the Keogh brothers. He's got national champions in his family. Skylar Trujillo comes through as well for Boo Bicycle, sitting very upright there, sort of a mountain biker, a mountain biker position.
Adam Craig.
Holding a water bottle.
Right, that's Adam Craig. It must be.
That's your brother, Todd. And then that's going to be bib number 23 there as well. That's Brandon Feehery for the Estellas cycling team, having a good ride. Here we go. Now Curtis White has made contact, so White has moved into 4th place. These two riders together now, that is going to be...
That's Tobin Ortenbland.
Right, that's Tobin Ortenbland. Like we said, a very strong starter. We've seen him in Louisville, in a bunch of these early season UCI races, in the elite field, taking hole shots, leading the first lap. He knows how to start well, but it's sort of been his MO that he tends to fade slowly throughout the race.
Yeah, and he's another C-level kid as well, coming from Santa Cruz.
Incredibly powerful guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's got a bright future in the sport. All right, we're going to go back now and pick up the front of the bike race. That is clearly Logan Owen.
That's going to be Yannick Ekman.
Now, excuse me. Sorry. I mean, I lose every time on this Cal Giant raffle or lottery. But you're right. There you go. So as we're looking at Ekman, he must be chasing Logan Owen out there right now. We've been looking at that gap. 6 seconds was the last report that we had as they came through the start-finish area.
You can see here just the daylight between 2nd place and 3rd as we wait for Cody Kaiser here in the sand pit here in the Valmont Bike Park. Normally just a sand pit, but this year they've put in this sort of double jump, this whoop section in the middle to spice things up. This course here, I mean, Todd, you've raced here at the Valmont Bike Park before, but this course is like nothing they've ever seen here. All these off-camber hillsides. I mean, this thing it's world class.
Yeah, it's great. You know, they have a little mix of everything here in Valmont. You can see a lot of the course from anywhere on the hillside, and I feel like they've made it more technical than it has been in the past. More corners, more stairs, more turns, a little bit of mud, and you're seeing guys like Logan Owen and Ekman. They're just dissecting this course. It's amazing when they come by our booth how fast they're going compared to everybody else.
Can you imagine if the Wells brothers grew up with this park in their backyard when they were kids? It would have been unbelievable.
Curtis White there in the lead, but goes into the pit now, so that's going to let Robin Ekman come back through again. So it looks like a lot of these guys out here taking other bikes. Just a quick update, we got Sam O'Keefe, another rider inside the top 10 for you guys on Twitter checking in. Thanks for your comments and feedback. We love that you guys are joining us this afternoon for the 2014 USA Cycling Cyclo-cross National Championships. If you're tuning in, go ahead, spread the word. Facebook, Twitter, let your friends know. Let the cycling community know that they can watch live bike racing right here in North America for free right now.
That is one of the big battles going on out there right now as we watch this going back and forth between Ortenblad and White. And Ortenblad getting the better here over the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, he's really the rider who's stepping up his game. I mean, Curtis, we expected him to be up there a little bit, but for what Tobin is doing right now, leading Curtis White, putting the hammer to him, a very strong ride. He did his homework over the holidays, and he's coming in with some great fitness.
You know, it's tricky as well. Now, that's going to be Kaiser, clearly his signature move.
Exactly.
Making his way up there. Every one of these guys wears stars and stripes on his sleeve as well because they've all been national champions. Yannick coming in, we opened the show telling you he's our defending U23 champion. The kid who's on this amazing run right now is Logan Owen with 8 in a row. Cody Kaiser was a junior national champion as well. Different category at the time than Logan Owen. That's going to be Josh Johnson.
Joshua Johnson, who won a Stars and Stripes jersey just the other day, yesterday in the collegiate relay, and he's got Lewis Gaffney, the American Classics cyclocross rider, an amazing rider out of the Southeast, a great developing area. We have national championships going down that way in a couple of years in Asheville, North Carolina. So he's having a very strong ride. And then you see Josh Johnson with the headwinds today, looking pretty smart there with the Aero helmet. And that is going to be your cyclocross world rider, Nathaniel Morris, bib number 17. He's having a very strong ride. These guys all hanging on here inside the top 10. So some very, very good battles here going on throughout the rest of the field.
Where they really did design a championship course here, didn't they, Todd?
Man, it's awesome. Boulder always shows up for these cyclocross races. Valmont here is a great place for it. And, you know, the wind seems like it's starting to pick up again. I see here on the start-finish straight. About 50 degrees out here today. Pretty much a perfect
really
day for cyclocross championships.
All right, so really the story now, I think it becomes, let's start talking about the national championship here. Because Logan Owen, I believed coming into today that this was his race to lose, and he's continued to prove that here. As we're going to be coming up on 2 to go quickly, it is his race to lose right now. I mean, if Ekman's going to win this one, he's going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, I think.
Yep, coming out onto the start-finishing line. Here he goes. Let's get that split again. A very strong headwind now starting to pick up. Logan
the gap is opening now.
Bigger, yeah.
Trying to get as arrow as he can. So he'll come across the line there. It looks like 32-21 or so. And Yannick, you can tell they're turning a noticeably slower cadence, trying to find some blockage there from the barricades from the wind. And you're right, that gap is opening back up again.
Yeah, it looks to me like this is going to be a big next couple minutes right here for Yannick Ekman. Now, as they make their way through the finish straight, they're going to take a soft right-hander and begin one of the more significant long endurance climbs on this course. And it's going to be Logan Owen really, now he can start compounding with interest his lead in the race. This is now, Todd, where he's got him on the ropes, doesn't he?
Exactly. You know, he's right where he wants to be. He's been riding a tempo he can sustain, he feels comfortable with, not having to take any risks, and he's in the driver's seat. Ekman's losing ground to him. When the course drops back and forth on itself, you'll be able to see where your opponent is, and that's going to be a big boost for Owen to see that he's starting to put some time into Ekman. And on the other hand, Ekman is going to lose a little bit of his oomph, maybe, seeing that Owen is riding away from him.
Todd, tell me what tires these guys are out on here today. I mean, you have the slimy sections where it's still wet, it's still greasy in those off-camber corners. But then you have this blazing fast home stretch, that blazing fast climb where you could be on road tires and you'd be just fine. How do you balance that mix today? And what are most of these guys that you've seen? What are they on out there?
Yeah, I was checking out some of the tires when I was walking around the pits earlier, and it looked like most of the guys were on mud tires, a little bit more aggressive. You know, you can get away with a fast tire on the smooth straights, but it's tough to make a file tread or something like that work in the mud, and I think these guys are picking kind of the best of both worlds with the mud tire, since there are some sloppy sections on the course still.
This wind that we're looking at in the finish, the deep profile carbon rims that you race on these days, you're going to feel that, aren't you?
Definitely. You know, it's not going to be the same as on the road, but you're still going to notice the wind really picking up here, maybe gusting 25 miles an hour.
What is the sensation? Is it getting the wheel moved out from underneath you? How would you describe it?
Yeah, well, a lot of times it'll blow you offline. Like I said, it's a little bit different on the cyclocross bike compared to the road, but it's just a bit of an unstabling feeling.
You know, at this point now, I think the greatest technician in this sport under 23 years old has got to be Logan Owen. When you look at the experience that he's had in Europe over the years, I mean, how many of Jeff Proctor's cross camps has he been to over the years? This is one young man that even though he's only 18, 19 years old right now, Todd, he races like a 28-year-old with experience, doesn't he?
Definitely. Well, you look at the guy's career, he's nearly got a medal in the Road World Championships, nearly in the Cyclo-cross World Championships. He's a great up-and-coming rider for the U.S., not just cyclocross, but road as well.
The impact that the Louisville Worlds had on this sport could be shown with that young rider coming through right there. His name is Drew Dillman. When that event was announced, all of a sudden funding became available. Junior cycling started to grow. Isn't it impressive? I know you live in Durango, but to see what bike racing can do to a community, Louisville's the perfect example of that.
Exactly. You know, Louisville now has that permanent cyclocross park where they had the World Championships last year, and it seems like they've built a whole cycling culture in Louisville just based on that World Championships. They always had, a cyclocross race for the past couple of years, but really now they have something special there.
There's splinter cells of cyclocross over the country, and Curtis White, obviously coming from New England, that has been, I think, throughout your career, traditionally really the motherland of American cyclocross. Colorado, we've been good, athletic, but never quite the depth of character that they've had out there, I'd say. Things are changing.
Definitely. New England, it's got the history there.
We got Lewis Gaffney now coming through the start-finish line. He is sitting solid there inside the top 10, and there is Joshua Johnson. These are the battles going on here between 5th and 10th place right now. Josh Johnson from Marion University. He's racing many times this weekend in the collegiate race on Sunday. He raced last night in the team relay, like we've already said, where he took that Stars and Stripes jersey. And then today, national championships. For these riders, a lot of options. And we're talking about the U23 field. Most of these riders are in college somewhere racing for one of those collegiate programs. Todd, you're from Durango, Colorado, where Fort Lewis is home. Talk about the development opportunities for these guys, not just in cyclocross and the U23 field, but the emerging collegiate scene right now.
Yeah, you know, collegiate cycling has really grown now. It started out with road, I believe, moved to mountain. We have cyclo-cross, track, BMX. It's great. It offers something for everyone, and if you want to be competitive with it, the structure is there to take you to the next level. If you just want to get out, make some friends, ride your bike, that's also there.
What I love, Colt, about Todd's hometown, Durango and Fort Lewis, is not only they've been a great program and had some, I believe it's 16 national championships as a team. It's been so consistent through the last few decades, and now you're seeing that with Marion. Collegiate cycling is just and high school, NICA, what they're doing as well. That might even be more important than collegiate cycling right now, but it has really, really changed the game. And, there's so many riders, as you mentioned, Colt, that are in this field that are still in school, and obviously that's encouraging.
Yannick Ekman will not give up. The gap opens, it closes. It opens, it closes. He's sitting there within 10 seconds this entire race, but he has not popped yet. He is not demoralized, and he's not given up. He has Logan Owen right there. If Logan Owen makes one single mistake in these closing laps, Yannick Ekman is there ready to pounce.
Boy, and the pressure then, does that put more, this is the psychological conversation.
The hunter or the hunted?
Right, exactly. And I don't know if we're exactly at the hunter or hunted point, but we are getting very close now, aren't we?
Definitely. You know, if I'm Logan Owen, I just want this race to end. He's out there, he's been leading from the start, and, he just can't wait to get it over.
And Yannick races pretty much a full hour week in, week out with the elite men. And this is really the first year that we've seen Logan Owen racing that duration. But I have a feeling that this one is going to go down to the line. Both of these guys should be good throughout the full, as we're watching now.
That's Logan Owen. But you know what, Dave?
Yep.
Logan Owen, last year maybe he was racing 40 minutes, but this is a kid who took 4th place at the World Championships on the road, racing for 3, 4, 5 hours.
Sure.
He knows how to go long. These guys, they may be U23, they may be in their own category, but these riders would be some of these riders, Logan especially, would be almost equally as competitive in the elite men's field.
If Logan Owen does not win this national championship, it won't be because the tank is empty when it comes across the line. It'll be something else that has occurred out there. It'll be a mechanical, in my mind. It won't be a biomechanical, that's for sure.
It will be a Yannick Ekman.
Right. He'll get Ekman. That is what's going to happen out here. Well, right now, this crowd is just massive here in Valmont Bike Park as we're looking at winds gusting up to 40 miles an hour. That's going to be the Dillman group that we're looking at now. How could the cameramen not want to stay with Cody Kaiser up over the Belgian steps that we're looking at there? Yeah,
Drew Dillman and Ian McPherson have a fierce battle going on right now inside that 5th to 10th position. Those two have been going body blow for body blow back and forth this whole race. That's the thing. Whether you're first, whether you're fighting for 9th, 24th, this is the national championships. Every one of these guys has put this on their calendar as the most important race, and they're giving 100% today. They don't care whether they're fighting for 30th. They're going to fight until they bleed.
I think the big battles you're looking at are for the win. Then that last spot on the podium. Our podium goes 5 deep here at the USA Cycling National Championship. So what's been going on out there between Curtis White and Tobin Ortenblad, and then exactly that Ian McPherson, Drew Dillman battle that we're watching as well for those spots up in the top 10. Todd, it really is being on the first page of the results, then in the top 10, then podium, then winning. That's sort of the steps that you make in your mind as an elite athlete, isn't it?
Definitely. You're always, all these guys, they want to finish one place better than they finished before. Of course they all want to win, but their goal is to get better. And so they're out there fighting regardless if they're 30th, 40th place or Logan Owen going for the win.
You going to help us get cyclocross into the Winter Olympic Games?
Yeah, I see that's, they're talking about it. They've talked about it for a while. I think it would be...
I want your voice, 3-time Olympian in that conversation. Here we go. This is it. One lap, the last grande. The gap looks like it's right where it was with 2 to go. So that's it. Logan Owen, off of your screen. You're watching the chase coming together. Now this is it. He's going to have to put together a fantastic final lap to win this national championship in his adopted hometown of Boulder, Colorado. That's Yannick Ekman, 1 to go.
Look at Yannick Ekman. They're holding the barrier, trying to escape that headwind, but I have never seen a pain face like I just saw on Logan Owen's mug. That kid knows how to suffer. He knows how to win, and he has got stars and stripes in his mind right now. He is not looking back. He is looking ahead. He is looking at the top step of the podium for the 9th consecutive year.
Logan Owen looks like he's having a hard time passing a kidney stone out there right now. That is not pretty, but
you know what? He looks like he's enjoying it. It looks painful, but he would not be anywhere else right now. This kid lives and breathes cyclocross. Thank God. We see a guy like this. He could go sign on the road tomorrow and
He'll
never
be world
touch
tour.
a cross bike, but he will never leave the sport of cyclocross. This is where he was born. This is what he loves, and you can see it right now, riding away. This is the day of the year. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for joining us here on BehindTheBarriers.tv. This is it. This is the party that we've been waiting for all year long. The day is finally here, and Logan Owen is delivering.
Todd, this is your wheelhouse. This is where you live. Tell me what's going through his mind and body right now.
You know, what Logan Owen's doing right now is he's trying to go as fast as he can possibly go, push himself without making a mistake. He knows he's got the gap. He doesn't need to take any risks, maybe crash, mess up his bike. He's going to give it everything he can on the power sections, take it easy in the corners and the technical stuff. We saw him tucked down in an aero position going through the start finish. The wind's picking up, and you know he's looking great out there. Right now it's his race to lose.
I just saw him look over his shoulder for the first time as he goes up that climb. He's doing it the hard way. He didn't sit back, ride the wheels, and attack with 2 to go. He went blast off right off the line, and he's trying to hold on today for 50 minutes long. He has gotten progressively, I think if we're going to look at the lap times, it looks like he's slowed down slightly every lap as that lactic accumulates as he continues to fade. Lucky for him, everybody else has just faded even more trying to follow his insane early pace.
Well, they used to call this the Valmont Bike Park. It's now downtown Payne City, I think officially, because these guys have certainly let it all out there. As we watch Logan Owen right now, Todd, at some point mentally, do you move into a different phase out here on this last lap? Does the pain go away for that last minute when you hear the announcers and come into the finishing straight? You've been there 3 times as a national champion in your career.
I think the pain does go away a bit. You know, he's suffering out there. He also has the luxury. He's alone. He doesn't have to think about how am I going to be acting. Right. How am I going to maneuver him in the sprint? He just has to keep doing what he's been doing all race, and that is, you know, putting the field away.
Ability to turn off the mind and shift more power to the body even here almost. As Colt, this is it. What a national championship for our U23 men in here in Boulder. Certainly did not disappoint today.
I mean, if ever there was a question mark for Logan Owen coming into a national championships, this was the year. It's his first year in the U23 field. He's going up against the older, more experienced riders. He's had a pretty tough season. I mean, he went all the way through Road Worlds. He started his season late. Oh, he knows how to do that. He's just fine, Dave. He is going to absolutely dominate. But this year, there was a lot of question marks. Curtis White had been riding well. Yannick Ekman was coming on to great form. I expected him to be good. I expected him to be the favorite, but I didn't expect this.
I have to say I did. To tell you the truth, I think that this is going to go down along with Katie Compton as the greatest American cross racer that ever lived. I really believe that you're watching history being made. This will go down as the first time ever. It's unthinkable. Won every time as a junior that he lined up. Started at 10 years old out of Bremerton, Washington. Now his first year as a U23. He continues to not miss a step here in Boulder.
Half a lap to go, and he takes a bike. Wonder if he wants a fresh bike for the photos, or if he had something going on there. Maybe just, again, it's not accumulating mud out there, but when you got a lead like that, why not get on a fresh machine? Why not get that extra 2 percentage points out of your final half a lap?
Yeah, this man came out of the Washington scene, which was a really strong scene over the last couple of decades. There's a guy named Jim Brown in Rad Racing. He came up with the Red Line crew, actually, the Rutledge group. And, man, have they got to be awfully proud to see what right now here. The winds are really picking up at the finish line. He's going to have a block headwind of about 60 miles an hour in his face, but not even that will slow down Logan Owen.
Logan Owen is fire right now, and Yannick Ekman looks very good. Now back to that start-finish line. Here we go. This is Joshua Johnson and Lewis Gaffney. You see Joshua Johnson, bib number 7, Lewis Gaffney, bib number 13. So Gaffney there really riding beyond himself to ride his way here up into the top 10. He's on that American Classics program, a protege of Robert Marion, who we'll see in the elite men's race later. And then we have got bib number 19. That is going to be Michael... Michael with a tough last name, but riding for South Chicago Wheelman, looking very well. Now, interesting stat for you, Dave, as we come into these stairs. Seth Spurlock on Twitter told me that with Cody Kaiser, the runners are doing this in 3.29 seconds. Cody Kaiser hopping it in 2.49.
There you go.
That's what Twitter's all about. Thank you very much, Seth.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at now what really has been Anthony Galina, who runs that Cal Giant program, has just got to be ecstatic right now. As we said, lining up this afternoon, if they didn't win this race with one of their 4 horsemen, they would have to be nothing but incredibly dejected. Now he should be ecstatic because not only is he going to win, it looks like, and we're going to pick up that action out there, they could go 1, 2, 3, 4 today.
These guys just putting on a clinic right now. Logan Owen, I mean, he's a U23. He's still young, but Dave, we're talking about his 9th consecutive national championship. How long has this guy been on a bike? How long has he been riding cyclocross? He is as much a veteran of this sport. I mean, look at a woman like Elle Anderson in the elite women's race we're talking about as a favorite. He's been racing cyclocross 3 times as long as she has.
Yeah, the only real comparable run now is Katie Compton's 9, maybe 10 coming up tomorrow.
But Katie didn't get started in cyclocross or with her streak until much later in her career. She'd already been a Paralympian. Logan, with the start he's having, I mean, it would be feasible that Logan Owen could win as many national championships as he races. It looks like it's shrinking, though.
I was going to say, this one is not quite over. Maybe there was a reason that Logan Owen was taking a bike there. We're sitting here really at the on the finishing straight, but to me, that last camera shot has me wondering, what has Ekman done there? Maybe a massive effort, and let's just see. It's not over until they cross the line, Todd. We learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, you know, anything can happen. I think it's going to take a lot to get to Logan Owen, though. He's pretty close to the finish, and I just don't see Ekman closing it down. I think he's going to run out of track.
I agree. Real estate's relatively valuable.
Oh, my God, though, if you're Yannick Ekman right now.
Oh, you can taste it right there. This is what it's all about. So Logan Owen now
you just want to get on the bike and help him pedal.
Well, he's got to stay on the gas right now. So if you're Logan Owen, the pressure is not off in any way, shape, or form. You said it earlier. Now, this is going to be the pit. The Shimano pit that we're looking at here has been very active in there throughout the day.
Here he goes, Cody Kaiser, 2.49 seconds, saving half a second every lap right there.
And I tell you, with these microbursts, Colt, going on out here, you never know what could happen to the front wheel of Logan Owen on the last lap.
It's true. You know, the wind is picking up. It picks up, it dies down, picks up, dies down. You never know when you're going to get hit with that.
That's a winning gap.
Yeah, I hate to say it. It is now, but you're right, Todd. I mean, these are microbursts, I would almost call them, that hit every now and then, but this is it. It's the home run now.
We're just about a minute away. Logan Owen is coming down the backstretch. He's going to turn onto your finish line any second now. Todd, you've won a national championship in cyclocross. Tell me about those final moments. Does it let up at all? Do you get to appreciate it before you cross the line, or are you just so focused at this point?
No, I think Logan Owen's definitely going to appreciate this one. You know, I think that his other titles, they were good, they were sweet, but he came in, he had a good idea he was going to win. Today, he might have thought he was going to win, but he didn't know like he has in the past.
Just a little note there on Curtis White. Looks like his wheel wasn't spinning. I wonder if he's having some disc brake trouble. But here we go, Todd. He is absolutely enjoying this one. Dave Toll, bring him home.
Well, it doesn't get better than this. Meet the new crown prince of a cyclocross in the world. Logan Owen goes 9 for 9 for Cal Giant. That deserves a booyah!
You think he's enjoying it?
Oh, I can only imagine what's running through that young man's mind right now. You know, Ekman maybe doesn't win today, but that was a world-class ride from Yannick.
Absolutely. And again, props to Logan Owen. Took a big risk this year, changing teams. A longtime rider with Redline, joins that Specialized program this year, gets on those bikes, both on the road and here during cyclocross. Specialized, Cal Giant, these guys are going to have a lot to write home about.
Yeah, that's his mom, Yannick Ekman's mom, Hannah Lohr, there saying hello, one of the more loving parents in this sport. And Yannick will certainly feel the support. Nothing like it. It makes me feel emotional, Todd, watching someone who has so much invested in this, and a lot of these athletes do. It's tough to be on that second step, isn't it?
Definitely. You know, everyone is doing all they can to be the best. These kids have a lot going on. They're graduating high school. They're going to college. They're competing nationally, internationally. We're here at the national champs, and it's just a lot of emotion, a lot of stuff that goes on in that U23 time frame.
You believe he could go down as the greatest American male crosser of all time? Are we starting to look at that run?
I think so. I mean, he's got junior, he's so close to getting those medals at the junior cyclocross world champ, so close on the road. First year U23 wins the national championship. I mean, he has a very bright future.
Colt, I know you follow these kids closer than anyone out there. Are we looking at the strongest class of U23 riders America's ever seen right now?
Not only are you looking at the strongest class of U23 riders right now, we're looking at the strongest class of young riders in any discipline of cycling, I think, at this point. I mean, our young juniors on the road are very good. We have some great mountain bikers, some great track riders. But our cyclocross riders at a young age are competing on the world scene like no other discipline. You look at a lot of the top riders, even on the road today. I mean, Taylor Finney. We saw him out at the Cyclo-cross National Championships a number of years ago. TJ Van Garden. I remember racing him. Alex Howes. All these guys got their start in cyclocross. They probably would have stayed around, but at the time there was really nowhere for them to go in the sport. A guy like Logan now, he has a future. He has the opportunity to make a long career as a professional cyclocross rider. The bronze medal finally now going to make it a 1-2-3, a clean sweep, Dave. Cody Kaiser.
Yeah, if you're a bike racer at heart, you got to love this kid. He grew up in a bike shop out there in Folsom, California, right outside of Sacramento. Boy, what a satisfying day for Cal Giant. 1, 2, 3. You know, I remember the day that you and your brother both won a national championship on the same day. I don't think I've ever seen, did Saturn ever do this in your time in the sport? Put the top 3 steps at a really, this is one of the big, I say the big 4 podiums that you have at nationals. Junior men, 17, 18, U23 men, elite women and elite men, and there you go, they did it, they delivered.
Cody Kaiser is a guy too who just hasn't given up. He was a junior national champion his last year. Oh, as we get a sprint finish here though, it's gonna be Curtis White, but he's got a mega horsepower behind him. Robin Ekman not gonna be able to do the clean sweep for Curtis White. A very strong ride for the first year U23 rider. He's going to come across the line.
Well,
and
that's
then
your Luke Skywalker as striking back against the Empire out
there. He goes. But on Cody Kaiser, to finish what I was saying, Cody, he won his last year as Skylar Trujillo. He's going to do it as well. But Cody was a guy, he really struggled his first couple of years into the U23 field. We saw a lot of other guys in that category sort of fall by the wayside in cyclocross. Guys like Nick Wayhall and other champions that just weren't able to cut it or weren't able to deal with it. Cody was able to fight inside the top 60, inside the top 50 and 40, and really this year in his final year as a U23 rider, he's really come good. He's cracked the top 10 a couple of times, and now he goes out on top here with a podium finish at the national championships. Coming onto the finish line though now, I believe that's going to be bib number 4, Drew Dillman. So that should be number 6 if I'm counting correctly.
And Ian McPherson has just joined him on the finishing straight here. That's a great ride by the young Cliff Bar rider here. He should take some pride home with this one. So
you start 16th and you finish 7th. That's a hell of a day.
As Todd said, you're looking to move up 1 spot. That's a bunch more than that. Boy, Todd, great having you with us here today. How's fatherhood treating you?
Yeah, it's good. It's exciting, you know.
What are we, 6 days in now?
6 or 7 days in.
All right, well, you give Meg our best for sure.
Will do.
Are they watching at home? Is he watching his first
They are.
race?
Yep.
All right.
And that's going to be Robin Ekman. So 2 of the Ekman brothers inside. I believe that's going to be a top 8 ride for Robin here today.
The older brother there.
Yeah, and they have been very, very close through this whole thing. For a while there, Robin was riding for the Livestrong team, specializing on road. And, you know, it goes back and forth out there.
A little bit of a sprint finish there. That's going to be bib number 12, Kevin Fish out of Texas, I possibly believe. And then number 17.
Nate Morse there.
Number 17 there, Nate Morse, I believe. Was that the final spot in the top 10?
Well, I believe you are correct there. And that is really significant at this point in our U23 men's timeline to make this top 10.
Now we got Brendan Rim coming across the line. What a ride for him. Started 10th, going to just miss the top 10, I believe. Of course, these results unofficial. And then Lewis Gaffney.
Boy, does he have a cheering support squad out here today. Gaffney, a very popular rider in Boulder.
Lewis Gaffney, great on the mountain bike, great here in cyclocross, a very young rider too in the U23 ranks. He's going to be one of those guys we talk about in the future. Now, Dave, we see bib number 7, Joshua Johnson coming through. A disappointing ride, honestly, when you look at what he was hoping for. He's looking for the world's team. He was looking for the podium today. Does not crack the top 10, but he's got another shot at it tomorrow in that collegiate national race, racing in the D1 race for Marian University. And then we have bib number, looks like 19. That's going to be Michael Dutzik.
Let's go with that.
I'm going to go with that one.
A lot of racing coming up tomorrow, and I believe, I'm not sure if it was in a late edition, or we've always been planning on doing our junior 17-18 men, but I am really excited to watch that race tomorrow. That's going to get going right around 10 o'clock a.m. Mountain time here.
Right around. You guys, today, you know, we were out here today, we were testing the feed, setting up our camera equipment, and we thought, you know what? Why not flip the switch? Let's send this out to the world. Let's bring the U23 race to you live, but tomorrow is going to be even better. Tomorrow we have your junior men. If you missed today, we're going to rebroadcast, I believe, the U23 men's race. We're going to have interviews. We're going to have features. And then, of course, coming up, we're going to have your elite women and elite men right here on BehindTheBarriers.tv. If you guys, when you're finished with this, go ahead, check out. If you're just tuning in, we've been doing this all season long. We've got some great coverage up on the site. We were at all the top races this year on the USA Cycling Pro CX calendar. We've got a lot of good shows. Cosmo Catalano's How the Race Was Won. You guys could blow a whole day just watching that show. But here at the National Championships Day, bring it to you live in real time It just doesn't get any better. I'm a cycling fan. I love the Tour de France. I love mountain bike world championships. I don't get more excited about anything the way I get excited about the national cyclocross championships.
I am right there with you. I got to say, I've always been a huge Todd Wells fan, and disappointed to see him not out there racing tomorrow. But the good thing is he's going to be joining us all day on the commentary. Todd, you really do bring a lot. Been really, really good to have Mr. Wells with us.
We'll also have a 7-time junior and U23 national champion, Jesse Anthony. I believe he's going to stop by and join us for a bit during that junior race, shed some insight on what it takes to be a top junior rider in the sport. Guys, go ahead. Let us know what you thought. We are on Facebook at Behind the Barriers. You guys can hit me up on Twitter at Dopersuck, DOPERSSUCK. Let us know what you thought. Let us know who you're looking for. Like we said, we're going to be coming back at you all day tomorrow, and we're here for you guys. We are here for the fans. Dave's a fan. I'm a fan. We're just, Dave, if we weren't sitting in this seat right now, we'd be at home watching the live coverage ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely, as I did many times this year. So yeah, don't be shy. We want to hear what you think. There's your top 5 today with Logan Owen taking his 9th consecutive national championship win, first as a U23. Yannick Ekman, defending champion, hometown hero, ends up with the silver medal today. Cody Kaiser out of California will wrap up the medal round there, taking the bronze. Then it's Curtis White for 4th. Tobin Ortenblad, the 4th Cal Giant rider, up on the podium. So congratulations to all of our U23 men. A fantastic job being done here in Boulder, Colorado by this 128 rider field. We'll be back tomorrow. So for my colleague Colt McElwain and our guest today, Todd Wells, I'm Dave Toll saying we'll see you at the start line for our junior men tomorrow morning.
Thanks for joining us.
300 days of sunshine. 54,000 acres of open space. 300 miles of trails and bike paths.
Excellent job, all you guys. Can you do me a favor tomorrow?
We do this every day.
Real close.
Okay.
USA Cycling
It's
is the
gonna be right
heart
here.
of American bike racing. On the road, on the track, in the dirt, here at home and around the world. We maintain the world's most innovative and successful programs that are developing American athletes into the future heroes of Team USA. And through our Race Clean program, we are working to ensure a clean, successful future for American cycling. We are USA Cycling. Join us.